one wants to date a bigot, and I think politics play a larger role in dating and dating choices by women than men are even capable of understanding. And then I think they sit on the internet and complain it's because they don't have enough money and they're too short. But really, it's because of your f***ed up belief system. That's why women aren't dating you.
Here's the big difference. Men are letting women know what they want in a woman to be suitable for them. Women are telling men how to be men. Let's move on to ladies. So, here's the thing. A lot of people talk about the red pill community, and people talk about the tradcon community, and I get there's a lot of gimmickry that goes on. Let's try and cut through that a little bit and address the real young men and women, Gen Z men and women. They're not finding common ground. A lot of young men are checking out of the dating pool. Both of them will point fingers and blame each other. I can say definitively that women are more at fault generationally in this instance. And I'll give you some numbers. I'll give you some pretty important statistics to prove it. But first, let's go to the, I guess you say the personal, the anecdotal. I'm going to present to you two cases where you will see that these women have woefully unrealistic standards. Here's case one. This woman blames MAGA and conservatives, insert whatever ism she doesn't like here, for making men undateable.
No one wants to date a bigot, and I think politics play a larger role in dating and dating choices by women than men are even capable of understanding. And then I think they sit on the internet and complain it's because they don't have enough money and they're too short. But really, it's because of your f***ed up belief system. That's why women aren't dating you. If you voted for somebody who repeatedly bashes marginalized groups of people, bashes minorities, bashes women, has no respect for them at all, yeah, that says a lot about your character, and that's unattractive to most women because that's an ugly trait to have. It shows that you condone those behaviors. Young women are shifting more left, and if you continuously shift more right in response to that rhetoric, then yeah, it makes you more unattractive to them. Voting for a man who is proven guilty of violent crimes towards women is indeed an unattractive quality. It shows us that you don't care about how that affects women at all. And I think to a certain extent, these men understand that, which is why they're on their dating apps saying they're moderate, saying they're apolitical, and all of these things, when really we know who you voted for, and that does make you undateable. If you want better results in dating, I implore you to change that belief system.
Go heat up the wok.
Right? Remember it used to be like, hey, stay out of our bedroom. Mind your own business. Now women are telling men how they should be men and telling other women who differ with them on fundamental worldviews that they need to change. Nothing is private. Nothing is your own business to this generation of feminists. Let's also go on to her absolute awful, god-awful take on conservative women. By the way, they'll also tell you we need to do away with political tribalism and find common ground. But here you go.
My personal take on why conservative men go for liberal women is because there is something incredibly desperate about people who advocate against their own best interests.
Pause.
And I think
conservative men don't go for liberal women. That's just not true. It's a false premise.
I've ever heard.
Well, this is the thing. She may not be willing to accept that men are checking out of the dating pool with women like her because they're clearly illogical. Let's continue.
On average, tend to advocate for their own best interests. Conservative women are people who actively do not do that. Like, it benefits women a lot more to be liberal. And I think conservative men kind of have a subliminal understanding of that. Favoring a party that actively bashes the core of who you are, it's giving desperate, it's giving pathetic, it's giving bootlicker. And I feel like conservative women kind of give pick me, choose me, love me.
So are you Chinese or Japanese?
Your guess is as good as mine.
I don't know.
Yeah. I love the number 13.
None of that. None of that is correct because it's bashing the core of who you are. So you've reduced women to abortions and sluts. That's what you mean. Because conservative men are like, no, just like conservative women, no, we're against abortion. There's nothing in not only conservatism, but traditional values of male-female relationships that would be against the core of what a woman is. As a matter of fact, one could argue it actually is more pro-femininity because it recognizes that women who are feminine are inherently attractive. And most women want to be feminine. I get that now you're being a boss babe when you're young and you want to show everyone how strong you are. But at a certain point, your biological window closes and you're like, maybe it would have paid to be a little more feminine. Here's the thing, too. There aren't many studies out there that conservative men date liberal women. I wasn't able to find that anywhere. Maybe she can. I mean, she looks like she should be able to do some research.
No.
But the closest thing that I've been able to apply is the values here. Check the references. The Journal of Evolutionary Behavioral Sciences, when it lists what men want in women, here's the important thing. It still hasn't changed. What women want in men has changed. What men want in women really would be in line with traditional conservative values. Number one, attractiveness. Number two, sexiness. That's kind of redundancy. It's really we really like
three
that.
being hot.
3, emotional stability. 4, health. 5, good genes.
How about anything under 190?
You want peace, you want pretty, you want nice, you want peace. That's what men want. They really haven't changed it. They didn't say, oh, and by the way, we need a college degree. Oh, and by the way, she needs to be a member of Mensa. Oh, and by the way, she needs to be a CEO. We don't care. Men don't care. You want a man who's strong, but also sensitive. You want a man who basically splits all responsibilities, but doesn't split the bill. You want a man who holds the door for you, but doesn't infantilize you. There's no winning for men, and they're checking out. Now, if you like what this lady says, just to be clear, you can Venmo her or subscribe to her OnlyFoots. Yeah. So that's hard no.
It looks like a fat white woman's ankle. It's like Hillary's slippers.
We got to say something there, Joe?
Yeah, I mean, she wants all of the privileges of being a man without any of the responsibilities.
Right.
And it's crazy to me because she said, women, it's in your best interest to vote for Democrats. Really? They're letting men into your sports. We're dominating you in every single way if you do that. You're transing kids, which I guess maybe you think is good, but that destroys civilization. God put in us, to your great benefit, a desire to die to protect you. And you're saying, no, don't do it. Okay.
Well, the problem is,
don't come crying when it gets rough out there.
They've actually made it so that people are turning away from God's prescription because men are saying, I'm not willing to lay down my life for this.
Right.
That's where men are. That's where young men are. And we'll get to some more stats as to, well, who's more at fault? Well, who's fatter? Who's sicker? Who has more unrealistic expectations? That brings us to case number 2. This is an ex-user, the Web3 Jess apostrophe. She has these posts here. They're going viral for her expectations of a man. And I will say this is kind of an extreme example, but not that much. This is far more comparable to what most women expect from men than if you could find an extreme example, for example, on the opposite side of men. This is pretty mainstream. So here's what she wants. An IQ of 130 plus. I believe that's less than 10%, if not 5% of the population. Dark triad light. I don't even know what that means.
What?
The dark triad is Machiavellianism, narcissism, and psychopath.
Okay. He wants someone who is feminist adjacent, between 6'1" and 6'3", with a beard.
6'2"?
Yeah.
I'm just asking.
Listen, Billy.
Yeah. By the way, if you find if you find someone with an IQ of 130 plus and is feminist adjacent, he's not going to be 6'3". You kind of have to pick one.
You're right.
Just to be clear.
You're talking about Woody Allen.
I thought dark triad light. At first, I thought it was like a skin tone.
I did too.
I thought it was a beer.
I'm so glad they expanded on that.
Dark triad light, the sure sign of a good time.
Tastes good.
Whoa.
Kind
Swastika. Where was that?
Tastes great. More Machiavellianism. Wants a BMI of 21 to 23, has to have a beard, likes all of my tweets on the inside, goes to therapy out of own free will. Well, that would probably not be juxtaposed very well with 130 IQ. Does everything I want, cooks and cleans, loves plants but eats meats.
Oh, geez.
Has his guy friends, buys me thoughtful things, takes care of me regularly, can solve a quadratic equation.
Come on.
You know, a lot of 6'3" athletes who can solve quadratic equations.
I can.
Knows how the recursion works. Can maybe raise a dog. What's funny is I noticed she didn't talk about the ability to raise children. By the way, here's some images of said lady. Yeah, she's a massage parlor 4.
Oh, no.
Oh, my God. I wouldn't even accept a happy ending from that.
A massage parlor 4.
She also says at the very end of that post, I'm not asking for much.
Right. I'm not asking.
Maybe
I'm not
she's
asking
funny.
for much. Yeah, maybe.
She was just being funny.
Well,
she's asking for a wet dream is what she's asking for.
You know what? She deserves it.
She does.
She knows what she deserves. And by the way, I thought I recognized her. I know her from somewhere.
Yeah.
It's a trap. Wow. So we took her wish list and we ran it through AI. It calculated her request to be between 0.1 to 0.5% of all population men. With some wiggle room.
It's 1/10 of 1%, folks.
Yeah. Hey, there's an equation she can solve, but she probably wants the guy to do it for her.
Gosh.
So basically here's the thing. I don't just say this as a pejorative, right? When you say functionally retarded, what you mean is this is someone who is not able to navigate society. They are so divorced from reality for whatever reason that they are in need of assistance. Basically, this massage parlor 4 is functionally retarded.
This chick's retarded. This chick's retarded. It's clear. Yeah, she's retarded. Don't bring that bullshit around here.
Choose me, love me.
Yeah.
Choose me, love me, long
And
time.
do we have that image on the overlay, the bell curve? Because this is something that's very important. So women definitively have much more unrealistic expectations of men. Oh, okay. And that last one there is men rating women and women rating men. If you see that there in that overlay, this is important because that's when men are rating women on a scale, I believe a scale from 1 to 10. The overlay is a little bit small. And then women rating men, 80%, over 80% of the men rated by women are below average. That's not statistically possible. Whereas look at when the men rate women, it's a perfect bell curve. If they see a woman who's like, okay, she's a 6, she's a 7, right? People will, it's a realistic, women will see a guy who's 6 foot, who would historically be an 8 and go, he's only a 6. It gets even worse when you have women rate themselves and men rate themselves. Yeah. If you take 1,000, they've done study after study on this, women will rate the men on a scale from 1 to 10. And if the women overwhelmingly rate a man a 6, do you know what the man rates himself? A 6.
Yeah.
Often a 5. If the men overwhelmingly and I'm not saying that you reduce people to numbers, this is how you conduct studies. If the men overwhelmingly rate the woman a 4 or a 5, do you know what she rates herself? 10.
Yeah.
10. So who's at fault here? Women go, there are no good men. And men go, I'm not seeing what I like. Well, women are far more obese than men as far as young generations right now. They have higher rates of depression, anxiety, mental disorders. They're 2 times as likely to be on SSRIs as men. They're rating far more men as unattractive. Men follow the bell curve. So here's the thing. The big lie that we have been sold is there are unrealistic standards, unrealistic expectations, unrealistic beauty archetypes of women that they can't live up to. When you actually conduct studies, it is women who are far more harsh on men.
Yeah.
There's a really pretty wide spectrum. There's a gradient here as far as beautiful for men. If you are within the bounds of health, and if you are nice, and if you create peace, guess what? You have a shot. You absolutely have a shot. If you're morbidly obese, okay, that decreases your chances outside of black guys. If you're really, really skinny, a lot of guys might not necessarily like you, but you could be anywhere from a size 0 to chubby. I don't know women's sizes, just to be clear. And guess what? Most guys will find you attractive. You could be anywhere from slightly below average intelligence to smart. Men will find you attractive. So long as you're nice, pleasant, and you take care of yourself. Men, it's the trope. 6 foot, 6 figures, and 6-pack abs.
Yeah, absolutely. And we know, you and I know people who have kind of fallen into what I'm about to talk about next. But that girl, the Asian in the video, she's very attractive, right? And
which
for
one?
Lane, like
The first one.
The first one.
He's talking about this one.
No, not
Not the massage parlor.
No, but she's attractive, and she's probably just struck out in the dating pool quite frequently, I would imagine, because of her personality.
Because of her attitude.
Because very pretty women become very ugly quickly once they have that kind of a personality, right?
Right.
But they double down. It's the other people's fault. We know people like this in our own personal life where they just double down.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, if it's everybody else's fault, good luck being single.
Right.
Like, you don't have to do much at all.
See, they can be picky, though, because they're the ones that are being pursued.
Right.
They can be a little pickier than
They
us.
can.
They can. Here's the thing.
And also,
Yeah.
whiskey was invented
Yeah.
to make that fat fuck a 6.
Here's the other thing. They're picky when it comes to here's the thing, right? They're being pursued and dating. It reverses when you're talking about marriage and commitment.
Yeah.
And it drives women nuts who have been pursued nonstop because they're hot, right? And guys, and then they think, oh, I could have any guy I want, and they're in a relationship, and the guy goes, you know what? I don't think you're the one who I want to marry. Well,
Right.
But no one says no to me. Have you ever actually sat down and asked a very attractive woman, like, hey, have you ever actually pursued a guy and been flat out rejected, like in a way that is hurtful?
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
The answer almost always comes back after some thought. No.
Yeah.
Well, do you mean like it didn't work out, or you mean broken up with? I mean, no. I mean, you liked a guy, let's say in high school, you thought he was cute, you wanted to go out with him, and he responded with, ugh. You ever got that? You ever gotten that? Because every single man has. Now, when you combine that with, hey, the best you're going to get in most of these scenarios statistically is someone who is nagging, is berating, is telling you how to be a man. Here's the big difference. Men are letting women know what they want in a woman to be suitable for them. Women are telling men how to be men. And men are just going, okay, right, sure, you keep thinking that. And the big irony is, if men became the kind of men who, by women's prescription, they demand us, women wouldn't want those men. You wouldn't want us.
No.
You wouldn't want us. You actually wouldn't want the man who, looking through this, who does everything I want.
Goes to therapy.
Who cooks and cleans. Who takes care of me regularly. Who can maybe raise a dog. You actually wouldn't want that man. You really wouldn't want that man.
That's what a feminist movement has done.
Yeah.
That's all on the feminist movement's shoulders.
For sure.
All
For
that
sure.
type of garbage.
Yep.
And women have gotten spoiled because, and look, this shouldn't be this way, but guys will put up with crazy for sex. They absolutely will all day long. They'll put up with crazy.
That's the best
for sex
kind.
to a certain point, and then they move on. And that shouldn't happen, but they're like, well, if you're putting up with me now, shouldn't you put up with me and marry me and create this entire family where I will be in charge of it? It's like, guys are like, well, no, of course not. I was putting up with you for sex. I thought everything was clear.
Yeah.
You're using the one bait that you have, the lure of choice for you. And I'm saying, well, I'm kind of wired for this. And again, shouldn't be like this, but it is. And so we put up with it.
Yeah.
And then things change and you're shocked by that. Were you born yesterday?
And now you've eliminated that. That's what's so hard is when women are statistically far more obese, when they are far more likely to be mentally unhealthy, they are far less attractive. Guess what? Now you've lost men pursuing you sexually.
Yeah.
Because it's not worth the effort. So feminism has truly taken away all of your cards to play. I mean, let's just contrast how it used to be, the way under the thumb of patriarchy. Okay? You lived at home and you tried to make yourself suitable. You tried to present as someone who would be a good wife, right? After which you courted the man and he married you and you started a family, right? So you had to show feminine quality. We used to have finishing school. Okay. Now you go through 4 years of glorified alcoholism. You sleep with a bunch of different guys and hope for the best. And then you end up 35. And at best, you end up with a feminist man who you won't respect. Here's the funny thing. The men who meet all these qualities, I'll tell you where the highest concentration of feminist men, right? Of allies. I'll tell you where they existed. You know where? Hollywood. The media. You guys remember Me Too? These guys don't respect you. When you just say, hey, do all of these things that I want, guess what? It makes you easier to trick. It actually opens the door to real sociopaths, to actual narcissists who know how to manipulate you and present as what it is that you want to be. And so women they've actually carved out, they've eliminated from the dating men who are honest, who might be masculine, who might raise their voice, who might be passionate, who might sometimes not take your input if he's making an executive decision, who might actually lead, who might give you an honest answer. You eliminate those men because you've required that men, present as everything that I want you to be. There is no man on earth like that. And so if you find that man, he's lying to you. Do you understand it? Yes, this is squarely, and hey, young men, go out there, get in shape, get your life in order, get your spiritual, emotional, physical life in order, and guess what? You've done your part. Women, you need to do the same thing. So I'm not saying that men can be living in mom's basement playing video games, but here's the thing. There are those guys. Then there are guys who've done everything right, and they look at the options available to them, and they say, nope, I get it. And the only way we solve it is by returning to traditionalism. That is the only way that this gets solved. Simple question. Have any of these feminist dating dynamics made your life better? I already know the answer, that the current feminists are going to have to lie to themselves. But I think that men can be a lot more honest. That's another thing, too. I think men can be more honest in the pecking order. Remember we had that guy come in here? I was just talking about this today from South Africa. Best looking man who's ever existed. He looked like a Dragon Ball Z character.
We were all
he literally had thick black hair that was angular, but in real life, like cartoon hair. And all the women in the office were just like, oh. And I was like, I just asked him. And here's the thing. I just so what's it like to be like that? And he's like, it's kind of nice. Like he knew what I meant. It's like if you went with him into a room full of ladies, you'd be like, well, obviously he has first pick.
Yes, and
Men
maybe second
know
and
we
third
established
pick,
the
too.
pecking order. Like, well, yeah. Whereas, you know what you've never heard a guy say too? I was just talking about this just this morning. Like, we've had people here in the office who've lost weight or who've gotten in shape, gotten their life together. You know what you've never heard one of his friends say? Like, oh, screw him.
Right.
Ever. Women? There is no sisterhood.
Bulimia.
That's it's like, yeah, well, it's like, doesn't she look great? Well, yeah, I could have bought that too. Right? But, it's fake. Oh, men are like, good for you, man. I guess I should do better. And you see that reflected in men rating women. Bring that overlay up again. That is a perfect bell curve. Men rating women versus women rating men. The pink rating, that's men rating women. Look.
You see a bell curve, I see a nice tit.
Yes.
Oh, man.
And then look at the women. Statistically impossible for men to be that low on the scale. And then consider that the women who are being rated that way are far more likely to be obese, far more likely to be taking SSRIs, to be mentally unwell, and they're still being graded fairly. Women, that tells you everything you need to know. Who is at fault? Look at those two charts. It's that simple.
Gloria Steinem.
Yeah. Oh, you're still here, which is a miracle in the age of Instagram and shorts. I think you have some shorts up there. You have an attention span that is longer than that of a fruit gnat. So thank you. I'm glad you probably would like it a lot more if you actually head over and subscribe on Rumble. I'm live there 5 days a week, 11 a.m. Eastern, where free speech is still alive. Go to Rumble. Get off the social media ghetto that is YouTube, with a lot of homosexual activity here on YouTube. There may be some on Rumble, but I haven't seen it.